Hello friends, and welcome to yet another video in the Disastrovan video series. Topic of conversation today is going to be the barn doors that I created for the barn doors in the back of an Astro van. I've made two different types. The driver's side is a tongue and groove blued pine, and the passenger side is 4-inch pine strip. So let's get right into it. I don't actually have a video of me ripping off the panel of the back doors, but you're going to want to do that. And after you do that, you will be left over with these plastic knobs. And I'm going through with a pair of spring-loaded scissors and removing them. So remove all of them and you're golden. Next is going to be rerouting the speaker wire. So detach the speaker wire from the speaker. Here's the speaker wire. And I'm just going to reroute it back through into the vehicle so it's sitting inside the vehicle itself. Next is the really fun task of taking pieces of 1/4-inch foam board and reconstructing them on the inside of the door using Tyvek tape. This actually really helps with the insulation as well as noise suppression in your vehicle. Here's the passenger side. I haven't rerouted the wires just yet, but you can see that there's a pretty solid piece of foam board that's just been reconstructed using Tyvek tape. So all the way around and down, look at that. Now Tyvek tape, in and of itself, is really sticky. This works to your advantage, but it will gum up your scissors, so use a pair of scissors that you're either down to clean or you don't really care. I've taken a piece of Reflectix and cut it to be the same size as the indentation in the door itself, and I'm just holding it in place with a couple pieces of that Tyvek tape. So piece 1, piece 2, and then I'll put a piece down in the bottom center. Now that it's situated on the back, you can work on the larger pieces. Point of note here, you really want to work the bubbles out of the Tyvek itself. Take your time with this, no direct rush. As you can see, pressing good hard, trying to get as many bubbles out as possible, and you just do that around the entire piece of Tyvek. Next is going to be the barn door construction. So for the passenger side, I just took all of the pine strips, cut them to length, put wood glue on the in-between of the boards, and just smashed them together with a toolbox and a cooler, and I ended up putting something flat on the top as well after this shot. I then went and put battens on it and some trim and did a test fit to make sure that it fit the back door. For the driver's side, I did the same thing, but with tongue and groove, put some trim on it, made sure it fits in the back. Now I'm going to put the battens on. So with the battens, I do a pilot hole, do it pretty gently. I have it measured exactly where I want it. And just to make sure that there hasn't been any shifting around, I'll take the tape measure and just make sure that it's exactly where I want it. This is a step that I'll repeat for the other side as well. After I found out its exact placement that I want, I gently put a hand down and then take my DeWalt impact driver, put it on its lowest setting, and just gently torque it down. It doesn't need to be all the way in just yet. It's going to hold it more than anything. And then I'll do the same thing on the right-hand side. So pilot hole. This time I'll take the screw and I'll do my first level of torquing. Now I'm going to switch it over to the second level. And there you go, zap it right in. You're going to do that all the way across for every single piece of the tongue and groove board for the battens top to bottom. Now because I used tongue and groove, the tongue is still left over on the side, so I took a jigsaw and cut it off. This would have been a great job for a router, but I didn't have a router at the time. So with this kind of quick and dirty method, you are going to need to sand it a bit to just make things nice and smooth. So a good amount of sanding later, even sanding the edges and the corners, and this thing just looks great. There it is with the battens and the trim, and it's ready to be installed. Now it comes time to put it on the back door. So what I did is I took clamps and put one on the left and the right on the top. Now I'm going to take the drill. Did you hear that? That was the drill bit going through metal. So now we're going to take a screw and screw it in through the wood and now through the metal. Add a little bit of torque just to make sure that it holds through the metal. We're going to do the same thing on the right-hand side. So pilot hole through the metal, zap it in a little bit. Now this is probably the most important part. You're going to take your clamps and really clamp down the back barn door to the metal itself. Wood has a tendency to bend, so you're basically bending that back door onto the curvature of the barn door. And we're going to put a pilot hole right here. So zap it in. Here to go through the metal right there. Going to put the screw in and do the same thing. For this screw, I don't torque it in all the way. I just put it in a little bit because now I've got a pilot hole down at the bottom. I've also done the bottom left and right screws. Going to put this screw in, and this screw I'm going to torque in pretty well. And there's a reason for that. See that top screw now? See how it's sticking out a little bit? I'm going to go back and torque that one in. With the torquing of those two screws, that barn door now fits the curvature of the back barn door perfectly. And there it is. Oh yeah. And that's basically it. Now I have some pretty sweet looking barn doors on my barn doors. Yeah. If you have any questions about this video, feel free to post them in the comments and I'll try to get back to you in a timely manner. I hope that you enjoyed. Take care, everyone, and happy whatever you do.